Hello and welcome back to Crouton Cracker Jacks. Today I'm going to show you how to make delicious fresh strawberry pie. Now this recipe is great in the spring and early summertime when strawberries are at the peak of freshness and deliciousness. Super easy to make, and everybody that has a slice of this is sure to love it. So without further ado, let me show you how to make it. So the first thing we're going to need to do is get a pie crust ready, of course, because we're making pie here. I'm going to make my own pie crust here. I have a separate video that shows how I do this in complete detail. I will link to that video in the description box below. If you want to use a store-bought crust, by all means, go ahead. But making one at home is super simple. It's just flour, salt, take a little bit of Crisco or vegetable shortening, cut that in with a fork until you get fine crumbs, kind of looks like gravel, sand, whatever. Add a little bit of cold water to that, mix it together to form a dough. Then you want to take that dough and roll it out. Just sprinkle a little bit of flour, roll out that pie crust until it is about an inch larger than the pan that you're putting it in. Then you want to fold under the edges of your crust and crimp them just like you would for any other pie that you're making. And because we're not baking the strawberry filling in the pie, we need to bake the shell. You're still going to have to do this with a store-bought crust. Turn your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Let that preheat, and then you want to dock your crust, which is just a series of holes that you put in that with a fork. And then you want to bake this shell for between 10 and 12 minutes. You don't want to over bake it because you can end up with a tough and chewy crust. Just enough until it just starts to change colors just a little bit. After that 10-12 minutes, go ahead and remove it from the oven and let it cool completely. Now for these strawberries. I have got 2 pounds of fresh strawberries here, and I went through the entire case of the grocery store and found the best smelling strawberries that I could find. If they smell really good, they're going to taste really good. You want to make sure that all of your strawberries are perfectly ripe, and you want to wash them well when you get home to get off any residues that are on there. Go ahead and give them a good drain, and then we can start preparing them. Now to get these prepped for the pie, I'm just using a melon baller here, and I am coring these strawberries. Use a knife if you need to, or if you have one of those special little tomato corers, you can use one of those. Melon baller works perfect for this. You can even use a teaspoon if you wanted to. Just go ahead and remove the green tops and any of the white parts of the strawberry. The white parts have absolutely no flavor whatsoever, and they will also kind of give a ugly appearance to your finished pie. They will stick out like a sore thumb. So go ahead and get rid of them. Once you get all of your strawberries cored, you can go ahead and slice them into pieces. I like to just, cut them into quarters unless I have really huge strawberries, which I did in these 2 packs that I got. I got a couple really big ones. Those you just want to cut into sections so they're about the same size as all the other strawberries. And once you get all of your strawberries sliced and cored, this is what they will look like. This bowl looks absolutely delicious. I could just shove my face in there and eat all of them. But let's go ahead and make our filling. In a small saucepan here, well, medium saucepan if you will, I'm going to add about 3/4 pound of strawberries. This is about 2 handfuls here. And to that, I'm going to add in 3/4 cup of white granulated sugar, as well as 3/4 cup of water and 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. The lemon juice is not mandatory. However, it cuts the sweetness of the sugar, makes the flavor a little bit brighter, and will also prevent the mixture from crystallizing in the pie. I'm going to set my burner on medium-high. I'm going to bring this up to a boil. Now, once this comes up to a boil, you want to boil this for about 3 minutes. And you want to stir this constantly when it comes up to a boil because you don't want it to burn. But also these chunks of strawberries, you want to kind of break them up with a spoon or a spatula because what we're doing here is we're going to extract all the flavor and color out of these strawberries to make the gel that sets up our pie, makes our strawberries into a pie. And now that all of the flavor and color is out of those berries, I'm going to strain this mixture. A few recipes out there that don't use Jello, that just use, strawberries to make the gel portion of this pie, they don't strain this mixture. I like to strain it because the strawberries that are in there, they've released all of their flavor, they've released all of their color, and it's just a bunch of pulp and seeds, and it's not very appetizing. So I'm going to strain this mixture because all I want is the liquid here. This is going to make a really nice pie, and it's also going to prevent that sandy texture that you get if you don't strain it. So I'm just using a small strainer here, and I'm straining this into a measuring cup. And you want to use the back of a spoon and kind of press this mixture through the sieve, get as much of that strawberry flavor and deliciousness out of those berries as you can. And then you want to have 12 ounces of liquid here. You'll see that I'm a little bit short, so I'm going to add a little bit of water to this to make sure that I have 12 ounces. Now, if you cook this longer than 3 minutes, you're going to have less water. If you cook it less than 3 minutes, you're probably going to be right at 12 ounces. But go ahead and put it into a measuring cup and make sure that you measure this and get exactly 12 ounces. Now I'm going to take that strained strawberry and sugar mixture and add it back into the pan that I boiled it in originally. And again, over medium heat, you want to bring this to a boil. And I've got a cornstarch slurry here, which is just 3 tablespoons of cornstarch mixed with 3 tablespoons of cold water. Just whisk that together really quick. I'm going to add that to my strawberry and sugar mixture, and this is what we're going to use to thicken it. If you don't have cornstarch, you can use arrowroot powder or tapioca powder. Do not use flour for this. Now, once this comes up to a full boil, this is the maximum amount of thickening that your cornstarch is going to do. Do not cook it any longer than maybe 30 seconds or so, because you can actually break that cornstarch and then you'll end up with a soupy mess. So once it comes up to a boil, go ahead and give it a good whisk. Make sure that all that cornstarch is dissolved. You don't have any glumpy bits in there. And then you want to add that, pour that directly onto your remaining cut strawberries. Now, once you get that all in there, you want to go ahead and stir this up. You want to be careful. Use a spatula for this. You don't want to be real rough with these strawberries because you don't want to break them up. You just want to make sure that all the little pieces of strawberries are evenly coated with this cornstarch mixture. So just carefully fold these strawberries in with all of this juice. And as you do this, if you're using perfectly ripe strawberries, the smell will be absolutely amazing. Then you want to take your strawberry mixture and pour it into your cooled and baked pie shell. And be sure and get all of that deliciousness out of that bowl. Scrape that bowl clean. You don't want to waste any of this deliciousness. And you want to go ahead and spread out those strawberries to the sides of the pie. Kind of press them down with a spatula a little bit. Make sure that there's no air bubbles in there. Shake the pie around. Make sure that everything is nice and even. And then you want to refrigerate this pie. Go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. You need to let this set up until it is fully chilled, which is a good 4 to 6 hours or so. However, I will warn you, do not make this pie more than 24 hours in advance. If you let this sit in the refrigerator for longer than 24 hours, what will happen is that sugar will actually start to macerate the berries that are whole. It'll pull out all of the liquid in that pie, and you'll end up with a soft pie. Try not to make this pie more than the night before that you need it. And once your pie is fully chilled, you can go ahead and top it with some whipped cream. I just took some heavy cream here and whipped it up in a bowl with a whisk. It just takes a couple of minutes, not that hard at all. Again, I have a separate video that shows how I do that. It's one of my very first videos. I'll put a link to that video in the description box as well. But all it is heavy cream. I did not stabilize this at all. I just added a little bit of powdered sugar and vanilla to it and whisked it until it was at firm peaks. Then I went ahead and put it into a pastry bag with I believe a 1M star tip. This is what it looks like. And all I'm going to do is do like a little simple border around the outside edge of the pie. You don't want to completely cover the top of the pie because it kind of, hides the beauty of the strawberries. And, you want to see those strawberries. You want to know what kind of pie you're eating. So I just did a simple circular border like I do with all of my pies here. But yeah, there you go. That is how you make a fresh strawberry pie using strawberries that are perfectly ripe and delicious at the height of their deliciousness in strawberry season. So go ahead and cut yourself a slice. Now you can see here, mine was a little soft because I let it sit a little too long in the refrigerator, but it does not take away from the flavor at all. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. Subscribe for more deliciousness and to keep up to date on all my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.